This is the Dolphin E10 Automatic Robotic Pool Vacuum Cleaner, and I've had the chance to really put it through its paces over the past few weeks. You might be wondering whether this little robot is actually worth the investment, especially if you want something to help with pool cleaning that doesn't eat up a lot of your time or energy. Let me walk you through my hands-on experience with it, sharing what's worked well for me, what's been a surprise, and a few things I wish I'd known when I was just researching this for my own backyard. To start, the Dolphin E10 has a super modern, clean design. It actually looks pretty sleek sitting by the pool, which isn't really something I ever thought I'd notice about a pool vacuum. It's not too heavy, just over 14 pounds. So even if you don't have a lot of upper body strength, or you need to move it by yourself, it's really doable. The handles are placed well, so pulling it out of the pool or moving it from storage isn't awkward at all. Plug and play is honestly the best way to describe the setup. The first time I took it out of the box, I was kind of nervous about how much assembly I'd have to do. Turns out there's basically nothing to put together. You just take it out, snap the long cord onto the power supply, plug it into a regular outlet, and you're almost good to go. For anyone who hates reading through a confusing manual or feels overwhelmed with tech, the Dolphin E10 makes life pretty simple. Let's talk about the cord for a second. It's 40 feet long, so you don't need to stress if you've got a 30-foot above-ground pool. There's room to spare. But I have to be transparent here. The cord doesn't have one of those anti-tangle swivels you see on some more expensive models. Most of the time, the vacuum just does its thing and I don't notice any problems. But I have found the cord getting a bit twisted after a few runs. I've had to stop and untangle it manually once or twice. If you use the vacuum a lot or have a pool with lots of tight angles, the cord can sometimes get in its own way. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it's something that you should know. Once you get the E10 into the pool and hit the start button on the control box, which is just a simple touch control, nothing confusing there, it sinks to the bottom and starts moving around. What really impressed me is how quickly it picks up debris. I've watched it go straight for leaves, even those big soggy ones that sometimes get stuck on the bottom for days, and just suck them up. Acorns, small bits of dirt, and even some teeny tiny stones haven't been a problem either. The active scrubbing brush at the front spins as the robot goes, which helps get rid of that slick algae layer that can build up on pool floors, especially at the start of summer, or when you haven't cleaned for a while. If you're brand new to robotic vacuums and may be wondering what a filter basket is, it's where the machine traps all the debris it sucks up. With the E10, getting to the filter basket is super straightforward. There's no flipping the robot upside down, like with some older cleaners. You just pop open the lid on top, lift out the basket, and empty it. Rinsing it off with a hose takes maybe a minute. I like this a lot because I used to dread cleaning out my old pool vacuum, which always seemed to spill gunk everywhere. Here, it's a quick process and doesn't feel like another chore. I do want to point out what I consider an important limitation. The E10 only cleans the floor of your pool. If you have an above-ground pool, or just want a vacuum to get leaves, dirt, and junk off the bottom, it's perfect for that. But it doesn't climb pool walls and doesn't scrub the water line. So if you get a lot of grime up there, or if your pool steps get super dirty, you'll still need to brush those areas, or look at a more advanced model. For me, that wasn't a huge issue, since my pool is above ground, and I'd rather just handle the walls and corners myself once in a while. But if you want a totally hands-off experience, or you have a ton of fine particles that float or stick to the sides, keep that in mind. About the filter, it's good but not perfect. The standard filter can handle larger debris easily, but every so often, I notice really fine particles, like pollen, still clouding up the water after a cleaning cycle. You can buy a finer premium filter for it, but it's something extra you'll want to factor in if water clarity is a top concern for you. One thing some people might miss is a timer. The E10 doesn't have a built-in weekly timer, so each time you want to clean the pool, you power it on manually. In my opinion, that's a small trade-off for the price, but if you travel a lot or want something that runs on a set schedule without needing a push of a button, you might want to look at Dolphin's higher-end models. The cleaning cycle takes about an hour and a half in my pool, which feels pretty quick. By the end, the floor is usually spotless, and there's definitely a difference in how clean the water looks. The E10 seems to work out a predictable path, and even though it can't climb, I rarely see streaks or mist patches on the floor. That active brush is a big help. It grabs what other vacuums sometimes leave behind. When it comes to draining it afterwards, the robot is built well enough that lifting it out doesn't release a flood back into the pool. It has a smart water release system, so you're not left struggling with a sloppy, heavy mess. If you're worried about storage, it's pretty compact, so it fits easily in my garage corner. Warranty-wise, you get a limited one from Maytronics. I haven't actually had to use it yet. And based on the quality so far, I don't anticipate needing a replacement anytime soon. But it's good to know the company does stand behind its products.